we're going to begin by helping Bernard, because Bernard is a great fighter. He's proven that beyond a doubt. And it's time for Bernard now to step into the shoes of someone who empathizes, sympathizes, and commiserates with those who are less fortunate. And what better example could it be than for him to be retired, restful, and use that stature of that Superman body that he used to have, and now it's the Spider-Man, you know, to be able to help all those in the surrounding community. And to help him to do that, we have a young man here that we're going to bring up that's going to be able to do that. And this man is a champion of the world, and we do want to thank Daryl Peoples and the IBF for sanctioning this event, and we want everyone to realize and appreciate that we come not seeking to hurt anyone. We come to help Bernard. You know what I mean? We want to help him because, say, forgive him, Father, you know not what he's doing. So I want Tavoris to come on up here, Tavoris. This is the champion of the world. Everything in this promotion, as you can see, is Bernard against the opponent. It's Bernard, he comes in first. We got to flip a coin and see who's gonna do the walk. It's Bernard, and Bernard earned that, justifiably so. But wherever we go, the champion would be able to say the title was this, that, and the other. So we are now humble. We recognize and appreciate the fact that Bernard is Bernard, but now we must readjust and put Bernard properly where he can be exceedingly proud, you know, not only of the record that he's achieved and accomplished, with the type of dynamism that he's exemplified to the rest of the world, but to help himself, because we don't want nothing to happen to Bernard, because he's ours. He's ours. And I want to make certain that you retire nicely. And I'm going to give a good party. And the day is his birthday, too. What better fitting? Take him to Tavoris, you know what I mean? And do your thing, baby. You know what I mean? Take him up, he's stubborn. So don't be gentle. Be firm. Yes, let me have him there. This old bird makes you ever wave. Yeah. First cloud, y'all. Light heavyweight champion of the world. And still, light heavyweight champion of the world.
Hello, Brooklyn. First of all, I want to thank God, HBO, for putting on this fight. I want to thank my manager, James Prince, best manager in the world. Glad I connected with James Prince. Things starting to get a lot better for me. I want to thank my promoter, Don King. I want to thank Bernard Hopkins for basically calling me out for this fight. You know, it's kind of weird when a champion get called out, but hey, like you say, he's different. And you know, I'm willing to accept the challenge. You know, I don't duck, I don't run. Only thing I gotta do is call my name, I'll be right there. I want to say hello to Nasir. Been a minute since I've seen you. Glad you're still doing well. You know what I'm saying? And March 9th, I'll be in great shape. And I'll be here to put on the fight of my life. You know, a lot of people asking me, they're saying, with all the experience of Bernard Hopkins, all the tricks, you know, this and that, you know, how you gonna do it? Shit, I only got one. I'm gonna do it by throwing punches. You know, that's how every fight is won. You got to throw punches to win fights. So that's what I'm gonna be doing, and that's how I'm gonna win the fight. I'm gonna definitely win the fight by throwing punches. You know, and hey, I want to thank the Barclays Center for having me here and putting on this event March 9th. And hey, the rest of it, hey, we gonna see. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hello, Brooklyn. It's Brooklyn in the house.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Sir.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. There's not a lot to be said in behalf of Bernard Hopkins, because anybody who knows anything about boxing on this level knows Bernard Hopkins. This young man over here, Tavoris Cloud, you may not be familiar with it, but I'm familiar with it. Exciting fighter, dedicated fighter, focused fighter, very dangerous. Don't look at stuff like you think about the Capillo fight. Don't look at that stuff. I don't even watch that tape. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even register. I know the kid was. I know what this kid is capable of doing, and I can see he wasn't up for the fight. So them kind of fights you can't even measure. He's going to be up to fight a legend. He's going to bring his A+ game to deal with the legendary Bernard Hopkins, and we expect that, and we're prepared for that. And this man has already done some things I've seen in camp that I've seen his focus and his dedication. He's willing to refocus and give everything he has to give for this endeavor. And I wouldn't tell him nothing less because I told him I'm familiar with this kid. This kid comes to fight, and he's talented. Now, for those of you, I was on tour before with Bernard Hopkins and Don King for the Trinidad camp. I was on tour with these guys. Y'all just getting a small preview. Now, as Don just said, now I'm real confused. He's just yelled he was a Brooklyn night now. When I was on tour with him before, he was Puerto Rican. He was Puerto Rican when I was on tour with him before. Now he's back in. But you know, that's the magic of Don King, man. And like I say, he's one of the icons in our sport, man. We gotta respect that, you know. But in that ring, as legendary as Don is to this sport, in that ring, what you're seeing now is a master at an art form. And this is what Bernard Hopkins is. And we need to celebrate that and acknowledge it now. That you're seeing a master in his art form. You want to see this fight because our history has shown the more dangerous the opponent, the higher his game rises. If you check his history. The more dangerous the opponent, the higher his game rises. And Tavoris Cloud is an extremely dangerous opponent. If he didn't think so, I'd let him know I think so. So when you guys come to Brooklyn to see this fight, be prepared for an outstanding performance. Easily candidate for Fight of the Year, easily candidate for the Fighter of the Year. With support, because you want to be able to say you saw it live when you saw Tavoris Cloud and Bernard Hopkins make history again. You want to be able to say you were there. So I thank you for your time and I thank you for your patience. See you then.
The ones that follow me, whether you was on a side against me or whether you was with me on my team, doesn't matter. You watch me, you see me grow, you see me say things, you see me struggle, you see me overcome even the wrath of Don King or the wrath of this person, the wrath of that person. When you see a guy that has a track record that's proven more right than wrong, well over 80%, and that's high. You gotta sit back, even Thundercloud has to sit back and say, hey, listen, man, we gotta fight. But in reality, he's gonna be training just as hard, if not harder than he ever trained before. Because history showed if you come underestimating Bernard Hopkins, you can fall to the fate of others. Age is not an enemy to me. The clock is not something I try to stop, as Don or some would say. I'm not trying to stop him. How do you stop the man? Can't even stop the clock. He can be an hour back and it get daylight early and it get dark early and all that stuff, but it still goes forward, depending on wherever you live. So I'm not on this thing of trying to stop the clock. Y'all promoted how I live. Y'all promoted how I'm always in shape, how my weight right now. I get on the scale right now, and Cloud get on the scale right now, and he got me damn near doubled in weight class. So I don't have 3 camps before camp. One is, I gotta lose this weight. The second one is, I gotta prepare by watching or looking at film or whatever who I'm fighting. And then I gotta do the physical work. Well, to me, that's wear and tear. And guys get through and get away with that because they're young and they can sort of camouflage and get by it. But I know the history between when you fight a guy like Bernard Hopkins, if you ain't right now, 7 to 8 weeks out now, you in trouble. Because you got 3 weight camps to go through. And I'm on my 2nd one, right now. And so, I'm letting you know right now, that the smart money goes to Bernard Hopkins. That's the smart money. The other money that goes somewhere else, that's your prerogative. That's great, fine, whatever. But if you're betting because I'm 48 today, and that's the only reason you say that I can't because of the way you feel, and because of where your belt is on the last hole of your belt, because your button is popping at the top, and you 10, 15 younger than me, and then you look at me and say, how it's impossible for this 48. You're looking at the number. You're looking at the number, but you're not looking at the man. And when you look at the man, and you take all your bias, and all your envy, and all your jealous about how can I do it, and you feel the way you feel, and you never bounced the basketball or threw a punch, and you start saying, it's impossible for what he's doing. So he can't just by the number, then you're a fool. You're a fool to think that you can dictate what's going to happen to me through all that I've proven over the years to some that's going to be naysayers to my grave. Then you're not really making a decision based on what you actually think. You're looking at how you feel. You're looking at how you see other fights.